people. We're going to get straight into having our conversation and hearing the voice of the people. We have a special guest in our building. She's been here before, but we're going to bring her back. Talking about the Black College Club, we have Miss LaDon Moore. How you doing, ma'am?
I'm good. How you doing?
Welcome back.
What's up? What's good? What's good? What's
good to have you back.
Good to have you back. Now, I see you have Wilberforce on your shirt.
I do.
We had to be in uniform per Doc V today, or I would have had A&M, because you can't talk about HBCUs until you talk about Alabama A&M. I'm biased, but you know what I'm saying?
I mean, because it's an HBCU, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But to do your history, you can't start speaking of HBCUs until you list Wilberforce first.
We can have that conversation a little later. I do know the history, but we can go at it. But here we are. We're going to talk about, you are bringing back or have brought back the Black College Club. Am I correct?
Correct. We've had our reboot, what we like to call a reboot of something that, was so prominent in the community.
All right. For those that don't know, give us a little background. Tell us what the Black College Club is.
Well, Black College Club originated initially in 1998 with Kevin Howell and Brenda Robinson. They shared this, desire to expose at-risk and other Black youth in our community. They had if anybody who knows Black College Club, it was all about the spring break trip to various colleges, usually 4 to 5 colleges. But there were also meetings prior to that, which were kind of prerequisites before you were able to go on this trip. Now in '98, I was one of 5 of the first trip members that started. That's what opened my eyes to HBCUs, because I didn't know anything about it until I experienced it for myself, and after that I was hooked. And so over the years, it grew expeditiously. It grew, it became a big part of the community. I think the last tour that I chaperoned on was 2015. Now, the founders have gotten older, right? You can only have it spearheaded yourself before you pass it down. And so it was a opportunity that kind of fell in my lap coming back to Fort Wayne, native of Fort Wayne, knowing how much the Black College Club did for so many, whether you went or not.
Right.
It was all about exposure.
Right.
And myself and Michelle King, we just decided to give it a reboot with the blessings of, obviously, Kevin Howell and Brenda Robinson.
Yeah, that's good. And I remember when it first formed, because one of the things were they were trying to get more Black students to go to HBCUs or getting familiar with HBCUs, because at the time, I think groups was a big thing, and it was taking people to Indiana University, Purdue, and I think Indiana State at the time. I know it expanded to more Indiana schools, but I know it was Indiana, Purdue, and Indiana State, and they were getting people, they were taking more Black children to these universities and getting them acclimated to these universities, where when Mr. Howell and Ms. Robinson, they got together, it was like, well, it's a whole nother segment of universities that we can get these Black kids to. But I understand at the time the groups were, giving kids opportunity to go to school at minimal cost or no cost. So sending them to a HBCU, for some people, that was an expense, but those that could go ended up going.
Okay. And before y'all go from that, you said the word exposure. I've been in the school system for a very long time, and I don't recall too many students talking about being exposed to that and having the opportunity to even go on a trip. And so I kind of look at it like I look at our career academy. A lot of students don't know about it, and they're like, well, how do I find out about it? So I'm wondering, what do the school systems have in place for HBCUs, and maybe the college club could kind of tap into that arena so that they are aware?
We love to partnership with Fort Wayne Community Schools. I think the problem with Fort Wayne Community Schools is they can't be exclusive. Right? And unfortunate, that's what our community has to face. You know, when we want to do something that's exclusive for our community, it kind of get frowned upon. Meaning, well, why can't anyone else be a part?
Okay.
You know, and it's like it's not that you can't be a part, but we want something built for our youth, so they learn and they understand where they come from.
Absolutely.
Figure out where they want to go and get pointed in the right direction and how to get there.
Absolutely.
And be nurtured by someone who looks like them and understand them in the process.
Exactly. And I know, I'll say when I was in high school in 85, I don't know what happened after that, but in 85, they had like the African American Heritage Club or something. And I'm saying, do you know if they have that or anything close to that?
The closest thing they had was Alpha Omega at Southside.
Yeah. Well, at one point in time, as she said, the exclusivity, they didn't think that, you know, you can have it. But if you look at it now, they have clubs for, you know, LGBT, you know. So I'm wondering if they can bring those back, because that's what happened. They did take the African American clubs or change the names of them because they didn't want to give it a certain or a connotation or anything. So the multicultural club is what most of them became.
Okay.
Yeah, the multicultural club instead of the African American club. They opened it up to the multicultural club. So that's where it was. But in the 80s, and you graduated in 90?
In 97. No,
97.
80s, no.
I had to ask. But, you know, in
It's
the late,
the beard.
late 80s, early, yeah, he looked older than my daddy. But late 80s, early 90s.
See, I said I was going to be married tonight. I'm finna take him off the chain. You better chill out.
Okay.
You better chill out.
Okay. But late 80s, early 90s. Remember the Cosby Show, A Different World. I mean, every celebrity or rapper, they had HBCU paraphernalia on. They wore it. It was prominent. But then all of a sudden, it just kind of died down.
Yeah.
And, you know,
That shouldn't have happened.
World made me want to go to a HBCU.
It became too prominent.
It became too prominent.
Yeah, I mean, a different world. Really, I really wanted to go to a HBCU, but I got a scholarship for, you know, track at another school. And it's like, free or pay. Free, I'm going. So, but now, had I known that I could have got scholarships to HBCUs, I would have tapped into that resource and tried to get into HBCU on a track scholarship. But I didn't know anything about it.
And it's funny you said that, because we've been asked that. Okay, what if a youth come to your program and they don't want to go to a HBCU? Maybe they get offered a scholarship from another school, or PWI, or whatnot. And the thing is, we're going to encourage that. However, the Black College Club is more than that. Like, we have a passport program where we have different workshops. We're going over financial literacy. We're going on writing application, you know, how to fill out your FAFSA. We want the parents to come in so we can help them understand what their youth are going through. So I get it. If you got I have a nephew that got offered a scholarship football. It's not to a HBCU, but he comes from a single mother.
So
that's where he's playing football at right now. Now, if you want to transfer after that, you open yourself up to a whole different pool, right?
Right.
But sometimes money does matter.
That's true.
it really does.
That's true.
Well, it really does.
And I'm in the
Most
reverse
times.
of E. I actually was going to a PWI. I thought I was going to the Ohio State University. That was my goal. Got accepted, everything. I was going to the Ohio State University. So my mother asked me, who's paying for it? So my sister was at A&M. That was my aunt had just graduated from A&M. So she said, guess where you're going? I was like, I'm not going to A&M. She was like, you going to A&M. So I went down there on a spring break trip. And when I got down there, it was a whole different environment. Hooked me quick. And I was like, okay, I'm going to A&M. But then when I got there, it still took me a little bit to get acclimated. Because, you know, we think that all black people are the same. That's our conception. That's our thought. All black people do everything the same. We are as diverse as the world. In our race. So I met people, you know, that were different, that did things different, that believed things different. And you just saw all of that culture within a culture in one place.
Well, my daughter go to a HBCU, and like I told her, it's going to be a culture shock. And she looked at me like, what you mean? It was black kid students.
Nah, it's different.
It's a culture shock because you coming from a private school predominantly white school. Now you finna go be around your own. You're not gonna understand some of the language and some of the movement. And true indeed, she didn't.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just now you understand what it is to be around people that look like you, that's trying to advance just like you to get to another level. Now you know how to acclimate yourself to the system and move forward.
Right. You're right. Now, what is your trip this year? Where are you going? Where are you taking the club this year?
We haven't mapped out everything, but for sure, we're hitting up Kentucky State, TSU, and Fisk, and we're going to try to get a couple more on that.
Okay.
And it will be the Fort Wayne Community School spring break. So what's that? April 3rd through the 7th. I think.
Uh-huh.
So it'll probably be the latter part of the week, not that full week. So
Right.
maybe like a Wednesday to a Saturday,
Right.
or something of that nature.
Yeah. Now, as Doc V said, since the school system don't have anything right now that connects them with the Black College Club, how could a young student, and what is the ages, and how does a person get involved with the Black College Club?
And actually getting the youth involved have been the hardest part,
Okay.
because no one wants to be a part of something till everybody is a part of that something,
Yeah, that's true.
right?
Yeah.
It
We
has to
follow the
become
leader.
A trend. Follow the leader, right? So when you're rebooting, it's almost like, okay, we want to see what it's about first,
Mm-hmm.
right? But we are targeting 9th through 12th. And we have discussed mature 8th graders.
Mm-hmm.
Not just any 8th grader.
Right.
The high schoolers don't. When we target them, we're not necessarily using the word mature because they're in that population where you have to go
Right.
here, right? In 8th grade, you still got some time.
Right.
So, but some 8th graders are very serious
Mm-hmm.
and take their education serious. So those we don't want to push away. We're not looking for like a criteria in terms of grade point average because we may have someone come to us that's a C student, maybe a D student, right?
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully, with coming into the Black College Club around people who's not being judgmental, who's going to be encouraging, that's there to help them, maybe they'll start doing better in school. Sometimes it's all about giving kids the attention they need and being heard and listening. And not all of them have that at school and or at home.
Right.
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 Right? And some programs inside the school, there are certain criteria. So of course we don't want behavior problems, right? Because this is a situation where we want people to excel,
Right.
and do well, and grow and develop, and have an opportunity and platform to ask questions and do better. But we're just kind of open, but we are targeting mostly high school students.
Okay.
And
Go ahead, Doc.
I just wanted to know real quick. So when you say targeting, so what does it look like when you're actually campaigning and you're trying to get people to join, or that awareness? What are you really doing now to do that? Because you said the hardest thing is to get
It's almost
the young
It's
people.
almost like selling them a car. Jeez, these young people are different these
Right.
days.
I know. I know.
It's hard. I think the ones who are easier to get first are maybe ones you already have an established relationship with, right? Whether it's in your church, whether it's in the family, whether
Yes.
it's a child of a friend, and then you have them bring a friend.
Okay.
Our reboot, it was more like a day party kickback, so it wasn't so serious somewhere, and we had a good turnout. We had
Okay.
games going, we had food there, we took, names, call backs, we email them. It's just all about being persistent before you catch kids, and hopefully the more people hear about it, because it's been a short amount of time since we've been back.
Right.
Right? So everyone doesn't know yet, but we've been doing our due diligence with getting to churches, getting to people we do know in the school system,
Okay.
getting in front of whomever we can get in front of to speak up, about what we want to do.
That's what I was kind of wondering, and just thinking about just across the street, city life.
met with them.
And I was just
Actually
thinking.
brought a bus of kids to our,
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
so
That's
we
good.
have collaborated with them.
Okay, awesome.
They are affiliated with a program and they do a spring break trip.
Yeah. That
The thing
sounds.
is, at Southside, at CityLink, they have what? Predominantly black youth.
You mean at City Life?
City Life.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
And they go to PWIs
Yeah.
on the tour. So they don't, what I heard them say is, just trying to get it to where their youth feel comfortable on those trips.
Okay.
And we're not trying to step on anything they do because
That's
that's a whole
right.
different program, and that's a great program over there.
Right.
And they've been
That's-
established.
Exactly. That's a great program. But what I like is, and I think you even said it, opportunities.
Right.
And I think that our children need more opportunities because they are so diverse. Our people, like you said, a culture within a culture. Our people are assorted chocolates. I mean, we are so different. Even on the inside, I'm just saying we are so different. And our desires are different. Our upbringings are different. And so what we're looking for is not always the same thing.
Right.
So I don't know, but my mind is like, I'm spending some thoughts around trying to figure out how they can know more about the opportunity. Nobody's trying to push them there. Like you said, you want to present this opportunity.
Right.
And shout out to Cameron. He's the director over there.
Yes.
A good young guy.
Yes.
Awesome.
Doing good things over there. He's had me come back to speak to a female, individual female who's struggling.
Mm-hmm.
She wants to go to college, but her family is like, we don't want you to go.
Oh, that's hard. That's hard.
Because they're afraid to send her away because no one went.
Okay.
Yeah. That's common in our
And
culture
that's
too.
what you face is
Yes.
being that first generation.
That's right.
To step out.
That's right.
So, it's just going to be more of those, and you may have to talk to 20 before you can get 2.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. That's right.
But we're gonna continue to talk about the Black College Club. We thank everybody for being with us, but I'm gonna take it to connect it to our conversation yesterday, and it was talking about, and I'm gonna start it like this. Eric and I were looking, and we were talking about censorship, and censorship comes in all forms. Eric and I were watching a video. Black college HBCUs enrollments has increased dramatically over the last 7 years. Certain colleges like North Carolina A&T and Tennessee State University, and it's either Winston-Salem State or it's Virginia State. One of the is Winston-Salem. They are facing censorship in the economic realm because legislators in these states are looking to punish these schools because their enrollment has gone up, their out-of-state enrollment has gone up, and they're saying, well, what about the other schools? Why, and what are you doing? What's the problem? How are you doing this? And how is that going to affect, kids wanting to go to HBCUs?
You're asking my opinion.
Yes.
Well, what they're doing, what's going on with the HBCUs now is nothing different than what's been going with PWIs forever, right?
Right.
But why isn't it an issue now at a HBCU?
You're right.
PWIs have had off-campus housing
Yes.
forever, where they have contracts with hotels,
Yes.
where they house youth, because
Fort Wayne is going through that right now.
Mm-hmm.
so you get to ask yourself, why isn't it an issue now? We know why, right? But I think we have to stick together. I don't know. That's tough, because what they want to happen is divide us again,
Right.
right?
Right.
They want to divide us again.
Right. I agree.
I don't know how much they're gonna let Deion Sanders do over there.
Yeah.
But
Well, they're trying to take Deion right now. It's so many colleges.
the man is essentially doing it for free. So
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing it for free, but what he's also doing is he's bringing loud awareness to HBCU.
Yes. Eddie George. Let's not.
Yeah,
let's
Eddie
not-
George
let's
is
not-
doing the same thing.
Let's.
They being
Lizzie
boasted.
Hunter is at Jackson State, I believe.
No,
Where's he the basketball coach? He's at an HBCU. Lindsey Hunter's a basketball coach. But
well, you know the real issue, right? And I'm happy we're saying this because they're probably worried about the athletics departments.
That is a good point.
that's true.
Right.
She's speaking the truth.
I know, but speak it all the way.
yeah,
Because-
Athletics bring in the money,
You're right.
bring in the boosters, bring in the fans, bring in the TV ratings, bring in jersey sales, bring in money.
Money, billions, hundreds of billions every year.
To PWIs.
PWIs, yeah.
It would just be a shame if that comes into HBCU, right?
Right, and they tried that. They tried it with Deion Sanders and Travis Hunter. They swore that
they swore that Deion paid Travis Hunter to come, but when it all boiled down to it, and it was Nick Saban at Alabama, he said, "Why
like
wouldn't
Alabama ain't a paid players."
my point exactly. He said, "Why wouldn't he go to that school if the coach give him $1 million?" Wait a minute, bruh. You've been paying top-notch athletes for many of years to come to your school.
Right.
Now you got Deion turning the page on you.
Yeah.
Now it's an issue. One of the biggest things and the whole thing about the TSU and North Carolina and Winston-Salem is so crazy that I sat and listened and watched some of the hearing. And one of the biggest things, all the people that were saying is, why are you taking the black students from our white schools?
Yeah,
How are you taking? How are you taking?
And,
Well,
and the
that
funny
was
part about it,
question.
the lady had a very intelligent answer behind it. She said, "What's wrong with us teaching our own?"
Yes. Yeah.
That's,
But not only
right.
that, as we were talking about the advertisement, I said back in the 90s, I mean, you can find HBCU anywhere. You can go to the mall, you can go, but they slowly faded away because they were prominent on TV. They were prominent in movies. They were, but then you just saw, and we're talking about censorship. If you take it away from them, if you take it out of the view and out of the vision, how am I going to see it? Like generations now, they don't know about it. They first started hearing about HBCUs now since Deion Sanders went to Jackson State.
You're right.
And the number one Howard, they got the number one basketball recruit last year from Howard. North Carolina A&T is the number one track program in the country, men and women. But you don't see these things. Like I say, A&T, you would see Bill Cosby had them on. Everybody on Different World. Everybody. But you don't see them anymore. So if you take them out of the vision, then you don't give them the vision anymore.
And so when you say that, and I already heard you connect to the churches, so you said that was one of the areas. And so we know that's a major move. So I think that's a good idea. So last night I was talking about the parents and some of the things that I believe parents need to do. And that's one of them. So I get it. Some may be afraid. But I think that parents need to be like nudged and awakened. Like, be reminded. And do they get to attend these trips too? And is there an opportunity for you to sit with parents and encourage parents to learn about the HBCUs?
We obviously want them to be chaperones, right? Contingent on how many students we have.
Yes.
I am intentional about what I wear when I'm going somewhere. Probably once, if not twice out of the week, I'm repping something HBCU. Kids need, because what happened was, people like myself, before me, we may go to HBCUs. We get our degree. We go into the workforce. We don't come back to places like Fort Wayne.
Right.
Because there's not a lot going on here.
Right.
So what happens is you break that vision of the next generation to see that HBCU success story.
That's right.
Right?
Yes.
Because the people that they do see in the school system, in the hospitals, in the doctor's office, at the grocery stores, or wherever, doesn't look like
that's right
us as much.
And now,
so just like me coming back here, moving back here, I'm always asking, where are all the black professionals in Fort Wayne?
Yes.
Where do they go to mingle?
Atlanta. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, and we don't.
But in that same vein, while you're saying that, and how many times have we been sitting in somebody's office, doctor's office or wherever, and we seen any certificate or plaque or something from HBCU? That doesn't happen. So you're absolutely right. Wow.
And then the ones who are here who are graduates from HBCUs, for whatever reason, just haven't tapped into something that may potentially be a mentor to these kids that can get it from. Because I mean, the person I work with, Michelle King, you know, she's a native from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Maiden name is Stevenson, Michelle Stevenson. You know, she's from the Stevenson McGee family. You know, that's a family full of doctors. They're very educated. But she's been gone 20 years before she came back here. She herself left after high school and just returned. But what she did was return with her husband from an HBCU, from the East Coast, coming with culture.
Yes.
They're trying to do things in the community, and that's what it's going to have to be. You know, for whatever reason that brings us back. Me personally, still as a single, you know, non-married female, Fort Wayne is not a place I would necessarily choose to be. But this is my journey right now.
Right.
That journey had me come here. It wasn't a choice where I woke up and said, I'm going to Fort Wayne. Now, I love how it's evolved over the years. Right? Finally, because it's old money here.
Right.
But we know what's behind the old money.
Right.
So in the community, we have to be the ones that make activities and create things for our youth, and educate them and get them to see beyond what's in front of them now, which is not a lot.
That's right.
And with that, and I still want to tap into our censorship and get your opinion. Like, I feel that we are a nation of freedom. But shouldn't there be something that changes the vision instead of all these TikTok videos, these dance videos? I mean, there should be, and Doc V said the parents should be, but why aren't there an app, social media, something that has a black college or black college alumni that they're connecting? Why isn't there a black college alumni Facebook? Why isn't there, something that we could do? And, cut out some of this nonsense that our children are seeing.
It is.
Well, there's one thing I know of. I don't know about the app, but I like that, what you're saying. But that game show that Nephew Tommy hosts is strictly about HBCU.
But it is. I mean, if you go on Facebook, there is HBCU.
Yes, I'm
things of HBCUs and sororities and fraternities.
But what I'm saying is, why isn't it one just strictly that we can get HBC alumni from everywhere?
Because if you wait for society to do that, it's not going to happen. I mean, if you want to make changes, you have to start in the household first.
Yeah.
You have to have families that sit back at the dinner table together.
That's right.
You have to have parents that ask you, how was your day at school?
There you go.
You have to have parents that sacrifice working that third shift to make sure they're at home when the kids are coming home from school.
Right.
You have to, when I was growing up, my mom worked a lot. But I had my grandmother's house where my cousins, myself, my siblings, everybody was there. It was family. There was neighbors that can redirect you. There was a village.
Right.
We lost the village.
Yeah. And it's dying.
That's right.
And this is just what that looks like. Right? I had a friend today tell me, which I didn't know this. She said, the high school, the girls teams in a lot of these high schools don't have a freshman basketball team or reserve.
Right.
I said, is this the ramification from social media, TikTok?
Yeah.
Because kids are staying inside on their phones now. They're no longer interested
They're not.
in playing basketball, playing sports.
And outside, period.
Yeah.
Outside, period.
Yeah. And we could go on, but our time is winding up. We thank you, Ms. LaDon.
Oh, no problem.
Send us your email or your link, and we'll put it on our Facebook page that they can link and they can follow the Black College Club.
I got one more question. tell us when your next meeting and where.
I was just I was getting ready to ask
Our
you about
next
that.
meeting, which is financial literacy, is December 7th at the Urban League, 5:30 to 7:30. So meet us there.
All right. Well, we thank you again, Ms. LaDon. We thank you for being with us
Thank
tonight.
you, sweetie.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. E, before we leave every night, what do we tell our people?
Always protect your mind.